What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Lucas Live. My name is Lucas Tyndale. It is Wednesday, June 17th. I'm excited. I have Stark County Prosecutor Kyle Stone in the building. I called his phone and the voicemail just said attorney, like just back in the day. If y'all knew him as an attorney, just attorney Kyle Stone. I mean, I don't know if that's just a thing because that takes a lot of education, a lot of work to get to be just attorney Kyle Stone. But I said, Benny, I thought it would say this is the prosecutor, the prosecuting attorney, but it just said it's attorney. It could have said, hey, it's your friend Kyle. It could have said, hey, it's preacher pastor Kyle. It could have said a lot of things, right? Because he's a guy who serves his community, from this community. Kyle is actually a few years younger than me. He was a few years behind me at McKinley. I don't know if this is true, but I feel like he should have been like the president of student council or something. I don't know if that was a thing. We'll find out. But just always been a leader, thoughtful person, and somebody I'm glad to call my friend. Super cool. As he was running for his position years ago, I remember thinking, man, whatever I can do, and he's been on Lucas Live since season 1. He's been back probably every season and at different points. We are supporters of Prosecutor Kyle Stone here at Lucas Live Media. If you don't like that, you got to go. Too bad. Sorry. Don't know what to tell you. Because truly, I know him as a friend, as a man, as a person, beyond as the prosecutor. And in a community, there's a lot that goes on. So we're going to talk about some things today about how things go. I think people sometimes have questions about, like, how does that work, And any position of public office has challenges, and I can't imagine. I have a show that is my own private show, and people have opinions about my show and how I do my show, or how I live my life, or what I do, or what goes on, or what goes left, or what goes right. And we're all people trying to figure it out. And one thing I love about Kyle is, as a man of God, he is somebody who is a continuing encourager of people. He really does care about people. And I'm excited about it. So I'm excited to bring him on here today, ladies and gentlemen. As we get into it, I'm going to share the broadcast, as you should. I'm going to go to my Lucas Live Media page here on Facebook, and I'm going to hit the share button and make sure it goes over to my Lucas Tyndale page, so people who follow me over there will see us over there. So I'm going to say we're live with Kyle Stone, and that'll get you guys to wake up, and come in. So you guys share the broadcast as well. If you're watching live or by replay, share this broadcast. We are excited to have you. I want to thank everybody who's been supporting and checking out the show, people who share it, like it, check out the clips, who are following those who follow us. We would love for you to go to the Lucas Live Media page, hit those 3 buttons at the top on your Facebook, and invite your followers and friends to follow Lucas Live Media. We have some really cool things coming up in the future as well. We're working on a Juneteenth show. That's in a few days, so I got to pull it together. Shout out to Mark Bigsby. I think you guys are going to be excited about the guests we're going to have on Friday if we pull all these pieces together, which we will. And then Juneteenth is coming up this weekend. Juneteenth, the actual day, is this Friday, but our Juneteenth celebration here in Stark County is happening this weekend at Nemesilla Park. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't want to miss it. Why don't I have all those flyers ready? I don't know. I should have. But there's flyers out. I'll make sure you guys see it all on Friday, and we'll do our community spotlight at that time and talk about those things. So you guys get ready to come down. They got boxing. I had Coach Marquise Watkins on Monday. They're going to have boxing going on. They're going to have music. DJ Charlie Parker, who was on, he's going to be DJing down there. There's going to be things for fathers because it is Father's Day weekend. On Father's Day, they're going to be doing, I think, haircuts and, of course, food and so much more, things to bring fathers together. So fathers and sons, come out. I know you may be looking to have other Father's Day plans, and that's okay, but what a great time to come out, come to the park, have a good time together, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so something else we want to talk about. One, I want to thank my sponsors. Got to thank the sponsors. Shout out to SARTA. You guys know SARTA is an important part of this community, and SARTA does get behind organizations like mine and many others. When you see a flyer and you see SARTA's name on there, I want you to know it's because they know that they play a pivotal role in this community, and they are not just taking from the community, they're serving the community. I don't know why, as we look at, like issue 4 and other things that came along, people look at it like they're just trying to pull out of the community. They are continuing to put in, even getting behind organizations and things that are going on, probably Juneteenth, other things. They put some dollars behind those things when they can. And they continue to try to support those that need rides in the community. Make sure you guys continue to support SARTA. Jessica Danielle Nails. You guys check out my girl, Jessica Danielle, at the nail bar there on Fulton, and now she has NC Nail Lounge in North Canton, Ohio. She's a great nail tech, but she also has great nail techs, and she trains them and gets them going. So it's that time of year. I know, ladies, you got to go in all the time. You got to, keep stuff going. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying if you choose to, great place to go. Jessica Danielle Nails. Shout out to Linda Reibenstein of the Linda Reibenstein team. She's a realtor here locally, been doing it for 20, 30 years. She has a relational approach to how she does it. It's not about the transaction. She'll walk into a house and tell you something's wrong and we should leave, rather than just talking you into buying the next house. So check her out, the Linda Reibenstein team. Shout out to Ace Carpet Cleaning as well, a part of Jenny Can Cleaning. Shout out to our girl, Jenny Can. She can get your house clean, she can do your laundry, and she can get your carpets clean, ladies and gentlemen, through her company, Ace Carpet Cleaning. One of the key pieces to keeping your house clean is not just getting the dusting and the things done or you doing those things. It also is about getting those carpets done, get that pet hair and all that nonsense. Your kids been running in and out of the house. I wasn't allowed to run in and out of the house, but kids these days probably, do kids even go outside anymore? Maybe they don't go outside. I don't know. But whatever's going on, we need to keep those carpets clean. So check out Ace Carpet Cleaning, ladies and gentlemen. All right. We are also the African American Festival. We are big supporters of what's coming with the African American Festival here at Centennial Plaza. Lucas Live Media will be involved in getting content and being out there to support. We're right here we're right behind Centennial Plaza, so we'll probably show you a peek of what's going on out there, as well as get a lot of content and make sure you guys know what's going on. Shout out to the committee that's been putting that together. Some key players in our community have been working really hard to pull this thing together. There's going to be food trucks. There's going to be gospel music, R&B music, a fashion show, vendors, food, and so much more. That's the weekend of July 11th. So this weekend, if you want to support Juneteenth, we got Juneteenth going on, and then a few weeks later we have the African American Festival. The week after that, we have the R&B Festival down here with Brownstone here at Centennial Plaza. Before that, we got the 4th of July weekend. It's America 250. There's a lot going on. It's a lot going on, and there will be a lot going on. So let's get out. Let's get involved. Let's get our families outside. Let's get off our phones, our computers, and our tablets, and get back out into our communities, ladies and gentlemen. As you guys jump in, say hello to us if you guys are jumping in. As we get going here this Wednesday morning, we're going to get started with my good friend. He is the prosecutor. I don't know if the term is prosecuting attorney. That's what I always think. I don't know if that's the same thing. We're going to find out. I'm going to ask him. He's sitting right here. I'm going to ask him. And we're going to talk about some things. There's also a big investment coming to our area that he is going to share with us today. We're really excited. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, my good friend, Mr. Kyle Stone. How are you?
I'm well, sir. How are you?
I am excellent. I'm excited to have you here. I mean, you've been on many times,
right?
Just. I mean, to so people know. I mean, he's a season Lucas Live vet here, and we're grateful for him coming on and always being willing to do this. You have, over the years, continued to rise and rank in things that you do, but at the core, for people who don't know, who are you, Kyle?
I am, one of the things, if you look at all the things that I've done and the basis by which I do it, I'm a public servant. Yeah. I'm a servant of the kingdom. And so an imperfect servant of the kingdom, okay. I might add. I just want to be clear.
Is that okay? Because people act like you got to be perfect.
Yeah, well, I'm not for sure which Bible they're reading.
You don't know which one?
The one I read.
Their version is translated
into perfection. Okay. The one I read is a whole bunch of imperfect people in it, that the perfect God that we serve raises them up and uses them for his perfect will. But nevertheless, that's another story. If they want to hear that, they can come on a Sunday morning whenever, that happens. Yes. But my core is I want to serve people. I want to do right by people. I want to make sure that we do what we need to do and support one another, just like, from the day one. I remember your studio was just online.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. I was in the
basement, just doing it. And then here, now you have this whole setup. And so those are the things that we like to see from each other. And we build each other up, and we support our community. We support people in the efforts of always going to the next level. And so I just want to see everybody win. It's enough that everybody can win.
That's a strange concept, because people don't know that, and I think it's important for us to say, especially in a small community. Yes. I think sometimes we take for granted. I remember, for years I worked in early childhood, and we would we got to a point where I was going to Columbus and kind of advocating for some things, and funding for childcare and things like that. Over the years, people didn't realize. I mean, it's one, it's tough. Two, it's expensive to have kids. So when you have center or home care, whatever with kids.
Right.
That stuff is expensive. There needs to be dollars behind it. And I would go down and they would always talk about how rural Stark County was considered a rural county. Not the most rural, but rural compared to a lot of others, right?
Hmm.
And I would be like, hey, we ain't rural. You know what I mean? I grew up in Tip Street. I grew up in Neptune Park. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, to me, I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no cornfields, but I guess there are.
Right.
But we are a small community. And sometimes as a small community, we lose sight of the need to support each other.
Hmm.
And maybe it's even greater than larger communities because it matters that I can call Prosecutor Kyle Stone and he will come in and sit down with me and come on my show. And even when it was just me in the basement and me calling people online. And then you brought me in to live stream your being sworn in,
Hmm.
which was amazing. So those opportunities that in the ways we support each other, I think matter so much. Kyle, what is the job of a prosecutor? Okay, there's a lot of cases going on nationally, a lot of things go on, and prosecutors pop up on the news, and people hear about prosecutors and talk about prosecutors. And we watch movies, and there's always a prosecutor. We're watching Law and Order. There's a
Right.
prosecutor. What exactly does a prosecutor do, Kyle? We don't know.
Well, so let me just say this: TV has ruined
Law and Order.
our.
Don't talk about our shows now,
Yeah,
Kyle.
no,
Slow
no,
down.
listen, no, I love Law and Order. I can
Okay.
sit and watch Law and Order. SVU is my favorite. I've watched season 1 through 24 multiple times. I'd rather watch old episodes of Law and Order than anything else. So
Really?
I'm not
Okay.
knocking it, but it has ruined our perception on because we think that everything is supposed to happen. That, oh wow, we just stumbled across this evidence. It don't work like
It don't
that.
happen in an hour?
No.
I thought you know what I mean?
And so what it is a responsibility in different jurisdictions. You have some people are called county attorneys, some
Mhm.
people are called district attorneys.
All
We are
right.
county prosecutors and prosecuting attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that we do that get the headlines is criminal cases. We prosecute criminal cases.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that is important, if it's a misdemeanor by itself, that does not come to my office.
At all.
I still get phone calls about cases. If it's a misdemeanor by itself, it does not come to my office. It stays in the county, or excuse me, the city prosecutor's office.
Mm-hmm.
So it's either Alliance, Canton, or Massillon.
Okay, now hold on. You said city prosecutor's office. What's the difference? So cities have prosecutor.
Yes.
Do they have a prosecutor, like somebody who sits in your seat?
So
Is that an elected official? What is this?
So the law director is the elected official for those cities.
Okay.
And so then the law director appoints individuals, or in certain situations, the law director is serving as the law director for the civil side, but also the prosecutor for the criminal side. And so each one of our 3 cities have a law director who's been duly elected. And then they have a prosecutor or a prosecutorial staff, Canton being the largest one because of
So
the
does
largest
Canton
population.
have somebody other than you that is a city prosecutor?
Yeah, because I'm the county prosecutor, and so
Am I the only one that didn't know? I didn't know.
most cases start in a municipal courts.
Okay, right.
And so they start in municipal court. If it's only a misdemeanor, it's staying in the municipal court and the city prosecutors handle it. But if it's a felony, then it's going to, a probable cause hearing or a preliminary hearing. And then that preliminary hearing, they can attest, generally it's the municipal court judge deciding, is there enough information for this case to be sent over to the grand jury based off of the felony charges. And generally, that's what a preliminary hearing is for. And so then they decide that, or the defense can waive that preliminary hearing and just send it directly to the grand jury. And then once it gets to the grand jury, that's when it becomes our responsibility. And that's how. And so if it's a case is indicted, if we present it and it gets indicted as a felony, then that's when it's now our responsibility. And even if it's a misdemeanor, but it's connected to a felony, then it stays with us. But if, for example, if it comes over as a felony, but then it goes through the grand jury process and it just stays a misdemeanor, is what we send it back to the municipal court and then they handle the rest of it. So that's why you'll see if a case in the municipal court says CRB, that means it was a case that was sent. CRA is when it starts with them, but then CRB is when it was already sent to the grand jury and it got sent back. And so that's when you see the difference because it's already taken place. And so, but once again, if it's been indicted, then it stays with us. Even if there's a misdemeanor attached to it, it still stays with our office.
These are things we didn't know. Shantae Metcalf, hello. Enough for us all to win. She said she was on here earlier saying enough for us all to win. We were talking about that earlier. Rochelle, she said, teach us, Kyle, right? And he breaking it down. Like, this is what I said. I told him when he was coming in, I said, there's things we don't know. We don't understand. And truly with TV and things. So let me get into one of my favorite movies. Okay. I once saw this movie called Law Abiding Citizen. And Jamie Foxx, I believe, played the prosecuting attorney. I don't even know what city, what state, what it was. Anybody, if y'all any fans, hit the hearts. Tell me in the comments. Anybody else see it? What's up, G? Adriana said, break that thing down, right? Break that thing down. He telling us what's up. Because I want to talk about it. Because if any of you have ever been to court for any reason, to me, I don't care if it's traffic, family, they just want you to walk in and get your license. I don't know. It is the most nerve-wracking thing ever to me. I don't want to go nowhere near a court. I ain't even in it. Like, I had to go to court for somebody else once, and I was like, man, this is nerve-wracking. Like, I don't want to be bothered with anything that has to do with court. So I think court can be very nerve-wracking. The whole situation, we're gonna have him break it down, and maybe he'll alleviate some of our nerves. Maybe we'll still be scared. I don't know. Great movie once called Law Abiding Citizen. Have you ever seen this movie before?
Yeah, one of my favorite.
Okay, so we're breaking it down. He said he loves Law and Order SVU for those of you who weren't on earlier, so that's interesting. But he also said TV is ruining our perception of how these things really work. Okay, so one of the things that went on in Law Abiding Citizen was Jamie Foxx, the prosecutor, right? He played the prosecutor, right? And the guy did some horrible, horrible crimes to a woman and her daughter, and the husband was there, and he survived, but the family didn't and such. And in the movie, they ended up doing a plea deal with the killer. And the husband was quite upset about that, and he took matters into his own hands, and it went down. For the next 2 hours, it was going down. I think it was one of the best. Not only, I think it was just a phenomenal, phenomenal movie. That is a thing. Plea deals is a thing that goes on. At times, there's a plea. Now, when when my family member commits a crime, I'm out here like, free Johnny, free Johnny. And I'm like, regardless of what Johnny did, free Johnny. I know Johnny been crazy. I knew Johnny when Johnny was 2. Johnny was crazy when he was 2. He was cutting us. We wanted Johnny on punishment when he was 2. But anyway, Johnny's done something now and he's facing crime. So I want him to be free. I want him to have grace and mercy. And I want it may be a plea deal, at least something very understanding and gracious and smooth for him. But when I'm the victim, I want you to throw the book at him. Yeah. So talk to me about the position of the prosecutor and how this situation even works. Like, what is the process of all this when it goes from somebody did something to the possibility of a plea to how we dispense grace and mercy?
So, it's a complicated, process at times because you're right. You have one group, when we all want justice.
Yes.
Until it's our family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We want justice when it comes to our family. Like if our family is a victim or we as a family is a victim, we want you, like you said, to throw the book at them. Mm-hmm. But then when it's our family who's, responsible for certain action, then we want grace and we want mercy. And so that's one of the reasons why as prosecutors, we have to remain objective. We can consider certain factors and certain things like that when we talk about plea deals and whatnot. One of the things that people don't understand, I know folk complain about plea deals, but the reality is the criminal justice system is not set up to take to trial all the cases that we process. There's no way we would be able to do it.
Wow.
We don't have the finances. We don't have the manpower. We don't have enough judges. We don't have enough court staff. We had, I believe, close to or over 3,000 cases last year.
Who had 3,000 cases?
Stark County. And to come back to you about the rural perspective, Stark County is the 8th largest county in Ohio. Wow. And while we are not large like your Cuyahoga or your Franklin counties, we're not that far away from, when you go down the line, Cuyahoga, Franklin being the largest in Cuyahoga.
Cleveland area.
And then number 3 is Hamilton. Okay. Number 4 is, I believe, Summit County. Number 5 is Lucas County. Number 6 is Montgomery County. Number 7 is
Wow.
Butler County. And then number 8 is Stark County.
Wow.
And so we're not that far. We're talking about over 1 million in Franklin, to about 375, 380,000 in Stark County.
Wow.
But Summit County is like 500,000. So
Mm.
we got, a rural ish,
Yes.
but big issues. We got almost a conundrum in our community that we want to be a nice poppin' metropolitan area, but then we still like that good old family loving on the farm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a blend
Right.
that is almost an identity crisis for our county. And so sometimes our crime doesn't always align with the image that we've been portrayed as. And so we don't have a small county crime issue. We have a large county crime issue.
Really?
When it comes to the dynamics of numbers, per capita and things like that. And so when we understand what that looks like, we have to take plea deals. In order for you to do a plea deal, in order for a defendant to accept it, they're not accepting it at the max.
Okay, right.
So if the max is 10 years or 12 years, they're generally not going to accept it. They go do what they call take it to the box. And so if not,
whoa. What do we see? We don't know all these terms. Maybe y'all do. I didn't know. Yeah. Take it to the box.
Meaning they're taken to trial.
Okay. So that means some people are like, I don't want to plea. I'm not saying because to plea you got to say I'm guilty.
Right.
One way or the other, you got to plead guilty, and then accept some terms that is typically negotiated behind closed doors. Is that generally how that works?
Yes, between the prosecutor and the defense attorney.
That would be you?
Well, so I have a staff.
I think this is criminal, because on TV it's always one person, Jamie Foxx, right? Right. He had a team and some people who were helping him like dig through files,
right?
But when you think of the prosecutor, you think it's like one dude, one lady, and they making all the decisions. So, but then I've seen some other names, maybe on the website, maybe other places, or I see it every now and then. I'll be like, who are those people trying to act like they Kyle? How does this work?
So we have a staff of about 15 criminal prosecutors, assistant prosecutors. Right. And so we also have a criminal chief. And so the criminal chief is responsible for the oversight of the criminal division. We had, Dennis Barr used to be our criminal chief, and then he became judge. And then he ended up coming back to office. Now he's a deputy chief counsel.
Okay.
Which is like myself, our chief counsel, Lisa, and then Dennis is the deputy chief counsel. And so his main focus is really criminal area. But we have those assistants. And like contrary to popular belief, I generally am not aware of every single case. Well, I shouldn't say generally. I'm not aware of every single case because I don't have the capacity to be able to be aware of every single case. Because we have 5 courts, 5 judges, we have a prosecutor assigned to each one of those courts. Then we have 3 domestic violence prosecutors. Then we have a grand jury prosecutor. Then we have 2 child sex crimes prosecutors.
SVUs.
Right, exactly.
Something like that. Okay.
And so we have multiple areas. And so one of the misconceptions is that every case, if something happens or there's a plea deal, that I'm aware of it, or I know. Generally, those major cases or headline cases are the ones that I'm aware about, because one of the facets of the job is I have a whole civil division that represents all of the county elected officials in their offices. We are statutory counsel to all of those offices. So we have that responsibility. We also are statutory counsel to 8 of the 17 townships in Stark County.
What does that mean?
I'm their lawyer.
If what happens, why would they be under? What do you mean?
Just generally, just like contracts. Okay. Entering into contracts, entering into disputes and different things like that. We're the largest law firm in Stark County. If we want to talk about it and think about it, we are a law firm. but we're just one of the public side.
Never heard that in my life.
And we have the juvenile division. We have assistant prosecutors in the juvenile. We have the civil. We have the appellate, and we have the criminal. But then we also have our victim witness division. We have our public relations team, Carlin, Jayla, and Jim, and the work they do. And then we have our administrative team. And so we have 70 staff members.
So you're not behind everything that goes on, first and foremost. So one of the things that I think, and Kyle, you are young, Kyle, still. I don't care how old you are. You're still a young man. You I don't see gray hairs. He got his hair. You know, I got the hat game, which I'm proud of. I like my boy hair. But I mean, right? Am I mistaken, or has there been a lot of people your age sitting in this seat?
Well, so I will say, Bob Horowitz, who was in the position before my predecessor was in the position, he was 38 when he was elected.
Okay.
I'm 37. There's been younger individuals who've been elected. And so across the state of Ohio, 88 counties, there are some individuals, you know, I'll be 43 next month. But y'all know what they say.
Come on.
Black don't crack.
Black don't crack. So you feel.
And I you know, I live a I was getting ready to say a stress-free life.
Say, okay,
but
Kyle,
it's not stress-free.
This is where I wanted to go. Okay, it's funny you took the segue for me. I appreciate that. I wanted to talk about how stressful this must be.
It is.
I just assumed. I mean, of course, watching TV and watching these movies and stuff, the prosecutor has all this weight on your shoulders. The community thinks it's always your decision. They want justice. Are you a law enforcement officer?
So technically, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought you told me that.
Yeah. So technically, yes. But we are considered law enforcement. You know, but so
it's a lot of pressure. That's what I want to say.
It's a lot of pressure.
My job, I do this. I do speaking, corporate training, executive coaching. There's some pressure in the stuff. There's pressure. I have advertisers and sponsors and clients that I care about deeply. And I literally was just telling a client yesterday, like I had a client who called me and said they weren't working with me anymore, which is fine. It happens.
Right.
But it was like so early on in the thing. It was an April Fool's joke. I was bothered. I got up out my seat. I was pacing back and forth. And they were like, I'm just playing. I'm like, I don't know you to be playing like that. Because I care that much. Not because of the dollars and cents, because I care about people. And I know how much you care about this community.
Right.
And everybody doesn't. I'm not saying that I hear this.
Right.
But I'm saying, I'm assuming in a position like yours, number one, everybody didn't vote for you. And I'm assuming everybody don't like you. And I'm assuming if things don't go the way they want it to go, they get to be mad at you. They don't get to be mad at me about my show.
Right. So listen, so I've been called a rhino. I've been called an house.
House, yeah.
Word.
Yes.
An Uncle Tom.
Yeah.
I've been called names from both sides. But somebody told me if both sides are mad at you, you must be doing your job.
Ooh.
Because the reality is, if I wanted to, at my age of 43, not having, you know, these years of experience as the prosecutor, I could go to private practice and kill it. But my heart is in changing our community and making a difference and bringing honesty. The amount of sometimes not only criminal cases, but our civil side has its issues as well. And so those
and
that
you're
weight,
in that, and people, and then I mean the crazy part about that is the civil side, and you're talking about when you say civil side, tell us what does that include?
So that's representing, you know, some disputes. We have to sometimes represent our statutory clients in federal court. We have to represent them in, you know, locally in court. Sometimes my statutory clients are bucking up against each other. And the reality is that's what we have to deal with. And so when you take on that responsibility, you take on that, I'm so grateful. This is the key. Because people don't understand why I do what I do. If it had not been for the Holy Spirit, like I know we didn't come to this, but if it wasn't because of the Holy Spirit, I probably would have been gone already. Because the reality is, when you want to do right by people, can't nobody in Stark County or anywhere outside of be able to ever say Kyle Stone has did anybody dirty or did any try underhanded anything. I've always tried to ensure that everything that I do that I'm aware of in my office and everything that we touch is always on the up and up, because I'm not going to hell for nobody.
He ain't going to hell for none of y'all. Okay.
This is what I tell people. I can get to hell by myself. I don't need to take on nobody else because I'm mistreating folk. No, y'all not putting that on me.
No, not doing it.
And so I'm grateful that the Lord has given me strong shoulders, that even times when it gets rough, and it does get rough, it gets stressful. I have the ability to go in my prayer closet. I have the ability to go to the house of God and just lift up my hands and worship the Lord. And that's when his word comes true. And he says, for the spirit of heaviness, I've given you a garment of praise.
Kyle.
And so that's when we use the tools that God gives us to deal with that. But I have a heart and a vision for this county and for the community. And until that's completed, I'm going to stay there as long as the Lord keeps me in this spot.
Kyle, I am often amazed at the way you carry your faith. People struggle to carry their faith if they bagging groceries. People struggle to carry their faith if they doing any job, because we have been taught from a very young age a separation of church and state, a separation of faith and face in the community and out there. So there's a lot of people who are like, yeah, maybe if they're really, really going through it, or maybe if they need somebody to pray for them. How do you sit in the seat that you sit in and continuously talk about God? How dare you? Who are you? What are you doing? This is not how it's supposed to be, Kyle.
Listen, so it's two things, because I understand the grace that God has given me. Like, I'm so imperfect and God has given me so much grace. But his word says, if you deny me before men, and this gets me like, because I'll deny you before my Father. And so I'm more fearful of him than I am of people. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm more fearful of him than I am of people. And it's not a scary fear, but it's a reverence fear.
That's my dad, man. You're not going to talk me out of talking about my dad. Stop playing with me.
He said in his...
He set me up for all of this anyway.
Exactly. This is what he says. And I was just talking about this in church on Sunday. Just real quick. Romans 8, and I think 18, he says, after the spirit of adoption, we no longer have the spirit of slavery, but we have the spirit of adoption. Whereas we cry out, Abba, Father. And he said in his word, he says, in his spirit speaks to our spirit and reminds us that we are children of God. And so I'm always reminded in those heavy moments, in those heavy times, that I'm a child of God. And so in spite of what they say about me, in spite of what they feel about me, because there's some people who don't like me. Just to be clear. In spite of that, I know that God has called me. I know that he has a special calling over my life, and that my steps have been ordered. In my imperfections, the Lord has perfected my steps and perfected my destiny according to his perfect will. And I stand on that, and I'm okay with that. The difference between separation of church and state is, as a leader, I don't force my beliefs on people. I got friends who are not believers. That's fine. But you go see what I see. And there's people in my office, people who I know, who have come to me and say, can you pray for this person? Can you pray for that person? Because in the marketplace, the Lord is looking for people that'll just be good people and just represent the Lord. You ain't got to walk up to me, hey, they got to, sorry. You got to do all of that extra speaking in tongues,
that I don't understand anyway.
And, you ain't got to be all deep, so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good. All that is not necessary. Just be good, represent, and just serve people. If you cannot love people, you cannot say you love God.
Wow.
Because the very essence of what he sent his son for was because he so loved us.
Mm.
And so if you don't like people and you don't want to deal with people, you can't say you love God.
Come
You
on. You
can't.
can't. Your whole call
Your whole
is
call
to
is
love his
to love
people
his
and
people.
engage his people.
Right.
And the people that others may not love,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think it's easy. I think one of the things I've been having this conversation about church and churches that are, we become so churchly minded
Ooh.
that we become no streetly, earthly. Like, I don't ever, like, if I don't see you in the community, you took on a community service, public service position as Pastor Kyle Stone, who could have just been you could lead any size church, any church, a number of people. People will come see you. People would follow you. People trust you. You could have done it at your church, at another church, wherever. You have been that guy, and you could have spent these last several years building that thing up, and we would have been there, right? But you stepped out into the public space to serve in public. And one of the things that I think we're falling short on in church is that the church keeps serving the church. It's so circular. We coming in here to do our thing, and we about to have communion. So be careful, everybody, because we about to eat some crackers and some juice, and you're gonna be damned if you drink it and eat it. But if you go to the store and get your own crackers and juice, you cool. But if you do it up in here, you're about to die. And then the people of God aren't amongst the people. Like we were at Cliffy. Shout out to Cliffy Davis and I were at a community event the police put on here every, they go throughout the community. Shout out to them. They had it at Centennial Plaza. I think it's coming up this week somewhere soon, maybe today.
It is.
It is today.
At 3. Mm-hmm.
Okay, at 3 today. They do their community event. And she looked around and she said, "Do you notice there's no pastors here?" And I was like, that is kind of odd. I never thought about it. And not that they don't have work to do and they're not busy, but often we don't see the church alive in the community. They just set up and say, "Come to us." But Jesus was out there walking amongst the people, even people they was looking at him like, "What you doing over there talking to them?" Right? So as a man of God, why did you put yourself out here, Kyle? You really could have been anything. And you were a bad man as a lawyer. I'll tell you, I know it for myself. I'll tell you about that in a minute. You was everybody who ever had you as their attorney got story. They'd be like, "Kyle, man, I don't know how Kyle did it." But you as the man as an attorney, you are still the man as an attorney and as a preacher and a man of God. Why do what you do?
So it's got to be call. We prioritize what we're needing to do. Jesus is looking for people in the marketplace. He went. We got to remember, he went and turned over tables in the temple.
Yes,
because of foolishness that was happening in the temple.
Yes,
when he was at Matthew's house. The folk was wondering, the Pharisees was sitting there because he was at the table with the tax collectors and whatnot. And they was wondering, well, what are you doing over there? He's like, listen, the righteous don't need a doctor.
That's what
But the people who are sick, the people who are going through, the people who are dealing with things, they need. So I'm hanging out with them. And so I preached a sermon, and I think I need to preach it at every church that I go to.
Right.
It's called, "Is There a Doctor in the House?" And so we keep coming to that house.
Yes.
But are the people in hospice waiting to die, or are they coming to a hospital to get made well, to send out to bring others as well? And so that is some of the things that we think about. And so it has to be priority. Priority has to be where my heart is. My heart is in serving people. Contrary to popular belief, it looks glitzy and glamorous, but it's about servanthood.
Yes.
And I believe in servanthood. I believe people can call me what they want to call me, but I know that I serve the Lord, and the marketplace is a right place to serve God, to serve the people, to serve. And so we got to go beyond. Not only does the church have to go beyond the church, but even the prosecutor's office has to go beyond the courtroom. We have to be willing to be proactive, because I tell people this, that being tough on crime and crime prevention have to go hand in hand, because you got to do both, because if without the other doesn't work.
Wow.
So if I'm just tough on crime and I'm doing nothing about prevention, all I'm doing is being tough on crime and sending people just a continuous. But if I'm just crime prevention, but I'm not holding people responsible, then the ones who aren't prevented, they just get to, do what they need to do. So you have to do both of them. And so while we can give grace and whatnot, and try to assist and be proactive from our crime prevention efforts. But once you commit the crime, don't come to me. You know, listen,
Listen,
it
Kyle, I
is
can't
what it
call you
is.
Kyle. You know me. You were just
Listen, we got to stop trying to take bits and pieces about cases that we don't know all the information about,
yeah,
and be able to allow the process to do what needs to be done.
yeah.
And that's why I do what I do to ensure. I can't guarantee, you can't call me to ask me, well, my son,
Yeah.
because if your son did the crime, you got to do the time.
But
But
that
what I
happens.
can, yeah, it does.
I'm sure. Yeah.
But the key is, what I can guarantee is that your son, whether he has a public defender or whether he has a private attorney, is going to get treated the same way
Wow.
as the young man in Jackson Township that got the top lawyer.
Wow.
And that's what I can guarantee, especially if I'm made aware about it.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to make sure that, no, we didn't do that to that individual. We're not doing that to that individual. And so those are things I can guarantee. But if you thinking that you can come to me for a favor and just hook up, it's not happening.
Say McDonald's. I can give you an extra fry.
Yeah,
this is a whole
it's not,
system.
because we have to maintain integrity throughout the process.
Yes.
And
But
I
Kyle,
ensure that.
But Kyle, so many black people have been mistreated in this justice system. It is an unjust system, Kyle. So as a black man to a black man, I call you and I need a favor, brother, for all the people who've been mistreated. Help me out. There's a lot of blinking going on.
Listen,
what's up? You can't help a brother out?
No.
Kyle?
No.
But you know me, before we went to McKinley together, Kyle. You know me. Stop playing, man. They said, I heard somebody said you was like that, man. You don't be looking out for the brothers and stuff. You supposed to be one of us.
Yeah, I am one of you. My brown skin, when they see me walking up and down the street, my brown skin is the first thing that they see. When folks still grab their purses, even though they don't realize that they walking past your county prosecutor, or they lock their doors. Let me just tell you a story, just real quick, an example. I had to drop off my car at the dealership the other night. And so while I was sitting there waiting for my ride to pick me up, I was putting my keys into the lockbox where they had a cleaning crew. And this individual came to the door to make sure the doors was locked, because I was sitting there, even though the emblem on my car was that of the dealership, to where it was supposed to be there. Nevertheless, so then my ride comes and I get out the car and I'm writing on the envelope. And then the next thing I know, I hear their vehicle beeping to make sure their doors are locked.
Wow.
And so now, remind you, their car has, and I'm not shading anybody.
Yes.
But they got a towel covering up the one, because I don't know if the window isn't working or not. But I'm just using it as an example. People struggle. I get it. And so, because I have a hard time biting my tongue, I went over there to the door and waved and said, I don't want anything from you.
Bro.
I'm putting my car, I'm bringing it to the shop to get it fixed, because it's the dealership
matches my car.
And so the gentleman comes outside. I say, listen, your girlfriend, your wife, whomever came and make sure the door was locked.
This is the cleaning crew.
Cleaning crew, make sure the door was locked, and then hitting the button as if I wanted something and I was going to steal something. Wow. And I don't appreciate that. And I just want to let you know, I have a vehicle for this dealership to get repaired, and that's what I'm dropping off.
Yes,
but that's what we're dealing with at times.
And so you still face that.
I still face that. I'm no different. But here's the reality: when I do that job as prosecutor, I don't get to bring that to my office. Wow. I don't get to operate like that, because I still have to maintain. I was elected to prosecute everybody. So I don't care if you're rich, poor, black, white, old or young. If you do the crime, you gonna have to do the time. It's simple as that. And if you cared about my success and having an individual who operates like that, you wouldn't put me in that spot where I got to compromise my integrity.
Come on, Kyle. Man, I love that, because we do come from a culture of there was a book by a lady named Ruby Payne called A Framework for Understanding the Culture of Poverty. And she talked about how coming from inner city communities, or a culture of poverty, could be any culture of poverty, any community, that people have this expectation of, when you get up, you pull us all up. It is your job to get us all out, to save us all, to do it all. And then we do have things. Would you say, okay, so here's a question. I was thinking about this morning. Okay. I want you to tell me if you think the criminal justice system in our country is better or worse than it was during these eras. Okay. So your only answer has to be better or worse, and then we can talk about it a little bit more. Do you think our criminal justice system is better or worse for all people of all colors and all nationalities today than it was in the 1950s?
Yes.
Do you think it's better than it was in the 60s?
Yes.
70s?
Yes.
80s?
Yes.
90s?
90s was a weird time period.
Okay.
I do think it's better than, because we've gotten some understanding of some of the rules and the things that was in place.
In the 90s, Rodney King got beat down in the street and then those police got off. In the 90s, OJ may or may not have done it, but he got off. Those are big cases, obviously, that we saw. The 90s might have been what was going on in the 90s. I mean, that's what we know about the 90s.
But social media has brought so much attention. These cases, people have been getting off of cases for ages.
Yeah.
Juries.
Yeah.
Juries, when you have a group of individuals, that's the criminal justice system. We have a flawed system.
Talk about it.
We have a flawed system.
Okay.
Because sometimes people's opinions, perspectives,
biases,
whether they realize it or not, their subconscious biases sometimes takes place.
Yeah.
I generally still have this biases. My bias is sometimes when I'm walking and I see a white woman walking by herself, I'm assuming she's getting ready to grab her purse.
Me too.
And it does happen, but not always.
Yes.
And sometimes when I walk past, it makes me smile because I said that's an individual that doesn't carry that bias. And so those are things. So the reality is we all have them, and we all got to be honest with ourselves that we have them. But our criminal justice system is flawed, but it's the best in the world.
Fascinating.
It's
even today, because my
today.
question as we walk through eras, I wonder if we were better in 2014 or 15 than we are today, because it seems like at times we as a country are going backwards in racism, sexism, so many things. It appears that way, and I don't know if it's just because we're being shown it every day or what is going on, my man, because it feels scary.
Enlightened or encouraged, or what's the empowered to just talk reckless,
be ignorant and reckless. Yes. And it's happening. You can't. So considering we're facing a jury, and a jury is a bunch of people, I can get a notice for jury duty tomorrow. Don't mean I went to some jury duty training. I just show up and be on the jury, and then my biases and opinions and my stuff comes with me.
Right.
My suitcase of issues and baggage in my life comes in there with me, and we sit down amongst a bunch of people, and now I get to decide somebody's life. I mean, I think it was smart for the founders to say you get to face a jury of your peers, although it could be questionable if people ever truly get to see a representative of themselves and peers. That's an issue. But that's tough. I mean, should we have professional juries? I mean, what the heck do we do? How do we fix this? What's right?
But the problem is, I don't think we'll ever fix it, because you have a better chance of getting a fair trial with a jury than you do with a judge. Because
that's
one person. It's one person. All you
because their biases still come in there too.
Exactly. But like with a jury, all you need is one that says
reasonable doubt.
No.
Yeah.
And you can be acquitted, or you might have a hung jury, or that one can cause a retrial, and then sometimes a retrial you may not. The flexibility of negotiated pleas might be a little bit different depending on what that breakdown is. So let's say, for example, we have a jury that 80% says not guilty, but there was 3 that said guilty, or 20%, that says guilty. If we as prosecutors, we're going to go back and say, if we had a strict perspective, we ain't budging on this. We going to trial,
right?
And we get that result on a hung jury, we're going to be a little different.
Yeah, going at it again.
To go at it again,
right?
Or we might be a little bit more apt to negotiate a little bit more freely, because maybe some facts about the case or a witness that we are relying on, their ability, to convince a jury, they just aren't good witnesses.
Yeah.
They're just, because of their ability to communicate and articulate the story, or because of their own struggles or different things like that. There's multiple factors that go into a trial. And so I think when we put people in place that will help maintain integrity, then it helps. It's not only, we sometimes like focus on prosecutors and judges as the issue, but we got to be careful on who we utilizing as our defense attorneys as well, because we all play a role in this process. It's not just prosecutors and judges, but defense attorneys as well. And you got to make sure that you got a defense attorney that's going to fight for you, fight for your future, and not fight for your dollars. That's just general.
Listen,
sometimes that's the reality. Some folk are only
it's a factory.
It's money. Just like there's some pastors that all they're concerned about is the money.
Come on.
Just like there's some certain public leaders that all they care about is the money. That just the reality is that these individuals exist in multiple areas of professionalism, and until here's the problem with our society right now. We just don't want to be real. Call a spade a spade.
Oh, no.
It is what it is. It is not that big of a deal as we present it to be. And so it's just like, it is what it is.
Stop it. All right, listen. Here's what's scaring me, stressing me out. I brought Kyle on. If you guys know, I normally have 2 guests on. I was bringing Kyle on. I was like, I got to get you on a date when I don't have any other guests, because I just know there's so much to talk about. And I'm already looking at the clock now, like, I still don't got enough time. All right, are we going to work this out? Okay. Thank you guys. We see you in the comments. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for getting up this morning. I think I see Sean said he got up this morning. I think he said Melvin woke him, but I don't know. I don't know what I saw there, but I'm glad you guys got up. I'm glad you guys are here. We see you, Judy and Kim and Aunt Gloria and Matt and Rachel and John and everybody. We see you guys. Sandy, thank you guys so much for your comments. Hollis, thank you for being here. Nobody says, "Oh, Sean with the food." Did you wake him? Who woke who up, y'all? Somebody was asleep. I thought I saw that in the comments. I was reading fast. You guys, thank you guys so much for all staying with us and being. I mean, Jalen, and I don't want to miss anybody here. Jury, thank you guys. We appreciate your comments. We appreciate you guys watching. We appreciate you listening. If you haven't shared this broadcast, although we're getting toward the end, still hit that share, because it's still going to pop up on your page when somebody else is scrolling. Now, just because you share it and you don't see a like on it doesn't mean you didn't just tell the algorithm that this is important. When you share a broadcast or hit those hearts or interact or comment, you're telling Facebook and YouTube and these other algorithms that this is something worth other people looking at, and then they show it to more people. So again, even if you don't see all the likes on your page, you just sent a signal that what Prosecutor Kyle Stone is talking about on Lucas Live this morning is something that this is your vote to say to the algorithms, other people need to hear this. So keep doing that, and watch the replay later if you missed part of it. And when we put the clips out, like and share the clips as well. That's helpful so that more people can hear this. Okay. I want to do a quick shout out to our advertising partners, and we're going to get into, there's some money that's coming into our area, and Kyle's going to tell us about it. It's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen. Real quick, I want to thank our sponsors, Sarda, Jessica Danielle Nails, the Linda Reibenstein team, and Ace Carpet Cleaning. Support those that support us. I cannot afford to sit here and do this show day after day without advertising partners. I got other things to do. I have other ways of making money. I got a family. I got stuff. So I love doing it, but I can't do it without partners. Also, shout out to others such as the Committee for the African American Festival, which is coming up, who are also partnering with me to bring more things to you guys around this, which is why we continue to advertise this, because they're in support of me and I'm in support of them. Shout out to Adriana Downing, who's working with that committee, but so many important key figures in our Black community are making this African American Festival happen on July 11th. Make sure you plan to be there. If you are a vendor who's interested in getting a vendor spot because you want to sell your products and services and things here in downtown Canton during that time, during the concerts, during the fun, while the food is going on, check that out. And don't forget, we have Juneteenth going on this weekend, Nemasilla Park. We're going to have a special Juneteenth episode coming up this Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. We got some great guests. Shout out to Mark Bigsby. We're working that out. We're going to get it all together. And I have a special announcement about something coming up to Lucas Live next week. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Stone, back to you, sir. There is some big dollars coming into our community. Can you talk to us about what it is, how it happened, and what it's for?
Yes. So real quick, though, I just want to My cousin Melvin, I'm gonna do this just because he put it out there.
Okay.
When he asked you to ask me about the word badoubt.
Okay. What did he say that?
Yeah,
I
he
missed it.
says, ask
Okay.
him about badoubt. And so
I don't-
my family is about to crack up laughing. So many years ago, may she rest in peace, Grandma Susie,
Uh-huh.
she did an interview about Eric when they were going to the NBA finals when he
Eric
was with the
Snow.
76ers.
Uh-huh.
And so Fox 8 News was at the house and we were all there. And Grandma says to the interviewer that they can't win without him. And so and so to this day, we still laugh about that. And so
Hilarious.
so sometimes Melvin will send me a message like, yeah, Stark County can't do it without you.
you. We can't do
Yes.
it without you.
So just a little
Thank you for letting us
comedic.
in to your family, to your family dynamic, and what a family you guys have. What a family legacy. What wonderful people, Melvin, Sean,
Yeah.
but and all of your family. Shout out
Yeah.
to all of you guys and all that you guys do in this community,
Yeah.
and love,
Yeah.
love, love your family.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
yeah, I knew you would get it. But nevertheless, so
yes.
some people might be aware, about 4 years ago, and I'll be quick because I know we get ready to
Sure.
end. About 4 years ago, we started this work to bring a family justice center to Stark County, Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
And the Family Justice Center is it was in response to the growing number of domestic violence cases,
Mm-hmm.
strangulation, that as well as
Wow.
homicides from the fiscal years of 24 to 25, I believe it is. Don't quote me exactly,
Okay.
but Stark County was tied with Cuyahoga County,
Wow.
right?
Cuyahoga
With
County is
homicide,
huge.
with domestic violence homicides.
Wow.
Stark County type. So we have been working diligently to get this done. And so we applied for a grant a few years ago for $500,000 to get staff for the Family Justice Center. And part of that MOU with getting the grant is that we're going to create a Family Justice Center.
Mm-hmm.
And so, shout out to Congresswoman Amelia Sykes.
Mm.
She has been a consistent supporter and advocate, her and her office, of getting us there. We've been advocating on Capitol Hill with other, Senator Houston, with Senator Moreno's office. We've been doing those works and advocating for Stark
Family
County,
Justice
for a
Center
Family
here.
Justice Center here. And
Okay.
so we are excited that they haven't made the announcement yet, but you guys will hear it from here.
Okay.
That in the appropriations budget, we are positioned to receive $2.25 million for our Family Justice Center here in Stark County, and that will be 2027 appropriations. And so we're
You say
excited.
$2.25
Yep.
million
Yep. Yep.
in the Stark County
In the
for a
Stark County.
Family Justice Center.
Yes.
What does a Family Justice Center do? What services does it provide? What does it look like?
So to be clear, we're not creating a new agency.
Okay.
But what we are doing is bringing multiple agencies up under one roof.
Okay.
And so what that does is we don't just want survivors to survive from their domestic violence
and
abuse.
these things. Okay.
We don't want them just to survive. We want them to thrive. So we believe, according to, for example, in San Diego County, where it's all started, it's about 3 million is the population. They have 4 family justice centers.
Yeah.
They had, guess how many domestic homicides they had last year?
100.
1.
What?
The data shows whenever there's a family justice center in a community, it drastically decreases DV homicides because it provides the wraparound services necessary. And we know that when children are in domestic violence homes, they're much more likely to be a victim as well as a perpetrator. And not only a perpetrator of domestic violence, but violence in general. And so if we're able to position the family to move forward without them having to consistently experience that, we've stopped not only from her becoming a victim again, but we've also helped the children get the services that they need as well as. And so one of the things that, multiple things that we want to put in there, a clothing closet, because if I need you to leave that house immediately, you need clothes not only for her, but for the children. They put a food pantry in there. One of our local hospitals intends to put a clinic there. And so everything, some people thought it was a pipe dream when we talked about it, when I brought it to it. But the Bible tells me without a vision, the people will perish. and I'm a visionary.
Mm.
That's really who I am.
Yes.
When I see a vision and I know and I've prayed about it and I know that the vision is supposed to happen, nothing is going to stop me from accomplishing that because I know the impact it's going to have on Stark County. It's not only going to have an impact on Stark County, but it's going to have an impact because we will be the only family justice center at the juncture, the structure that we will implement in all of Ohio. And so I believe that our neighboring counties
Will take
people
note.
take note. Well, actually, I think they're going to
come and get
service here
Wow.
because we will have what we believe to be the space and the support and all the organizations to support. I mean, more information to come.
No, please.
So
okay, all right.
we go once we get everything set in place
order.
and the ink is
You'll come back
drying, we'll come back,
Okay.
or we'll have you come
I
too.
would love that. Would love
And
that.
then we will do, but it's happening. And so we're grateful once again. Like I said, shout out to Congresswoman Sykes.
Yeah.
And
She's doing some work.
This is the work you do when you cross party lines.
Okay.
Because we have gotten, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm done.
No. Please say it.
We have gotten so consumed about that win in politics.
Yes.
Party wins that we forgot about people wins.
Mm.
And so when it comes down to it, people have to be the priority.
Yes.
And we can have our political views. That's fine. But when it comes down to helping people,
that's what it's all about.
That's what it's all about. And if we can prevent crime and a victim from being victimized again, get them what they need to survive and thrive, why would we not do it? And we can collaborate. We aren't doing the service. We're just creating the environment to where our mental health agencies can come together. When you guys see the what it's going to look like and all the community partners, it's going to be huge. And it's the Willow K Justice Center. Willow meaning the tree. The willow tree is a very resilient tree that can withstand so much. And then K is my mother's middle name because she herself was a victim of domestic violence. And so to ensure that when my time in this position is gone, that they won't try to rename it, but it'll be set in stone, the Willow K Justice Center. And so that's what we want to be able to do and do the work.
You better listen. So how I feel about my mom.
Yeah,
my mom
Don't do it. We're not crying this morning. Right?
Messed up.
My mom, the anniversary of her passing is Sunday. So, so let's move on. Praise God. Hallelujah.
Two powerful men in the community who loved our mothers and honoring. And I think about it every day. This whole show was to honor Vivian Rosetta Tyndale, to honor my mom, knowing your mom and the impact she had on your life, your sisters, and your family, and then the impact of her loss.
Yeah.
And the way that you still honor her is something that is exemplary to someone like me, which is encouraging to someone like me to keep doing what I'm doing to get her in there. I always think about that, man. If I can build something, do something, put my mom's name on it, I'm going to do it. And I love that you've done it. I love what you said about those wraparound services for people. It is true. A lot of people who are now perpetrators of all kinds of crimes were once victims of all kinds of things. And I always wonder, like, where's the original sin? Where does it start? I mean, not just the original, but like, where's the root of the thing? And how do we stop those things? And I love the thought to say, we got to get these children out of these situations where they're watching all of this violence and domestic violence and fighting and things. But so many people don't leave because they truly have nowhere to go. Why are you still with him? Why are you still with her? Why are you still in that situation? Well, we got kids together. We have a home together. The cost of living is so ridiculously high right now. My guess would be it's more and more people stuck in situations with nowhere to go because of things like this. You said it. I had Terrence Jones on a few weeks ago. Shout out to him and the work he's doing to provide summer jobs. And you guys, he put out a video today. Make sure you guys go check that out.
I owe you a check, Terrence. My office does.
I think Terrence is just now getting together how we can give, because I was like, Terrence, how do people give? People want to give. He got it together. It's available. Check out his page and Lucas Live Media. You can see it there. And I owe you money too, Terrence. Now that I think about it, I owe you money too. I've been trying to give it to you. But if you guys want to give to that, he's trying to raise $50,000 to help with summer jobs, because he has money and grant dollars and money that they put in, but it's not enough this year. There's so many young people trying to get jobs. We want to keep them out these streets, get them to work. He has programming to do that, as you guys know. make sure you guys look at that. Give what you can if you can. But you came into the comments that day, which was a big statement. I don't know how much, if you know how much weight your voice carries in this community. And you said summer jobs is a part of crime prevention. What did you mean by that? That's a big statement.
So if kids, because so we started a keep kids in school.
We're running a little bit over, y'all. If you got to go to work, go to work. If you got to keep your AirPod in so you can listen. But we go get a few more minutes. Give us a few more minutes.
Keep Kids initiative, where we started going after parents for truant children, because we believe if kids are not in school, they're in trouble. If kids are not working, they're in trouble. What else are they doing?
Right.
And so when we can give kids the opportunity to go to work, to do something, earn their own money, or they ain't got to try to steal it, try to hustle it, or that they can earn it themselves. These are the things as crime prevention. That's why we have to contemplate our economic stance on things within our communities. When we talk about poverty, how poverty is directly correlated to crime.
Come on now.
But that's a different story.
It's directly correlated.
It's directly correlated.
It's correlated. Like they can tie it
absolutely together. Tied together. Now, does that mean every crime?
No.
But there is a direct correlation. And so when we give kids opportunities to participate in work experiences as well as camp experiences, we keep them from having idle time. And so we all know idle time.
Come on, Kyle.
Creates issues.
Yes.
And so, and that idle time creates issues for adults as well as kids.
For sure.
Sometimes we adults know better. Sometimes we adults know better. But sometimes kids just kind of go with the flow and whatnot, and they can easily subjected to peer pressure and those things. So that's why I believe that's a absolute crime prevention effort, and that's why my office is going to make sure that we support those efforts to make sure kids are working this summer.
Kyle, I can't thank you enough. I'm so glad I did not try to get you in a 20-minute, 25-minute time slot on my show, because you would have got on here and we would have been going till 10 o'clock, because I would have been like, we just got to keep going.
Right.
Your insight, the number of people. I want to thank you guys again for all of your comments. I didn't put all of them up there. I couldn't keep up with all of them, but that's how we want it on here. And your comments matter, because people watching the replay can see, and you guys can comment with each other. But we appreciate all of you who have been on here, who've been talking. Carlton, we see you again. Hollis, we see you. Drake, Thomas West, what's going on? Got to get you in here. We need to sit you down for an hour. Talk to you as well. So many others. Tandy Dyer, hello, good morning to all of you. Kyle, what happens? One last question. What happens? When is your term up? Can you run again? How do we what's going to happen? Because I want to know. Are you going to run again? Like what happens? I don't think we know, and we should know ahead of time.
So 2028, every presidential year is when I'm up.
Okay.
And yes, I intend to run again.
Okay.
For a third term.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, get ready for that. 2028, we will be voting again. I can't tell you who to vote for, but I can tell you who I'm voting for. Maybe I can't tell you. I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't vote for Kyle Stone, don't watch my notes. But Kyle, the service you provide to our community, the service you provide as a prosecutor, as a pastor, as a person, all those people, as a key person of influence in our community matters so much to us. I can't thank you enough. Ladies and gentlemen, if you appreciated this show today, let us know in the comments. Hit those hearts. Tell us something in the comments. Let us know. I'm grateful. You broke it down today, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Can I ask you one more question? Yeah, one last question. And he has like a 2 minutes to answer. One last question. There was recently a case with a young black man who stabbed a young white man who was coming at him, or something was going on there. The young man's name is Carmelo Anthony. Carmelo Anthony was just sentenced to 35 years in prison at 17 years old for doing what many say was defending himself, what some would just argue is flat out murder. When you think about cases like that, what do you think? What do you say? What should we do? What's your thoughts?
So two things. I will say I did think the 35 years was a lot.
Okay.
But that's based off of just, my experience over the past and what we've done and different things and the egregiousness of certain things like this. But that's all just based off of speculation.
Okay.
One of the things that I find it very important is because I have enough to worry about here in Stark County.
Okay.
I don't spend a whole lot of time investigating cases outside of my jurisdiction. So I just don't have the time.
Details, yeah.
And so one of the things that I would like to see
Mm-hmm.
that might change my perspective with regard to that 35 years is the evidence that everybody saw.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to see the video. I would like to see the evidence. I would like to see or hear the witness testimony.
The evidence that attorneys and judges have
access to, and all of it. I would like to see that because what I find, and this happens here, is we get glimpse of a story and glimpse of what somebody said, but we aren't there, and we will run with it.
Yeah, one way or other. Right.
Yeah,
both sides. Yeah,
free such and such. They deserve this, and we don't have the opportunity. Most cases, the majority of people don't even know all the details.
Right.
We know the details, and sometimes I look at some comments.
You would know as a prosecutor.
Or just as a prosecutor, just in my office, and just sometimes reading comments about cases that people say, I cringe at how off people are that they have no idea. They think they do because of what somebody said. Well, my cousin said that such and such as such happened, and it's not even true.
Yeah.
And so I'm curious to see what that looks like. So whether or not he's guilty, I can't attest to that.
Yes.
But I did think, the 35 years was a lot. But
there's a lot more in your position. It's like a surgeon who knows I'd have to look deeper into what caused the illness.
Correct.
At your level. In our level, we're all just kind of speculative. We're in our corners of social media. I always say, like, my side of social media is showing me one side. Somebody else's side may show them one other side. And I think at the end of the day, we gotta pray for our people. We gotta provide services. We have to pray. One thing you do is, you said this to me many years ago. He represented my daughter. There was some stuff going on at the school. They tried to railroad my little girl, not my bubs, one of my older kids. And he was an attorney at the time. Thank God. Everybody, when he became a prosecutor, a lot of us was like, now what we gonna do? He was my attorney for stuff. And he said to me, and he said to my daughter, I'm not just fighting for you in the court or in the school system court, whatever it was that we had to go to. He said, I'm fighting for you on my knees in prayer, and I'm going to go before the Lord. And the outcome of that, the school was scrambling around trying to figure out how they could make right what was about to go wrong, because the power of God came in. The courts of heaven had ruled before we ever walked into that courtroom. And I will forever be grateful for you. My daughter and I still talk about it. And it's a test, and it speaks to our faith in God, because you showed who God is here on earth, not in the church, outside of the church, not against the church, but the fact that it was seen live in real life in the school was such a testament to our family. And I thank you so much for that.
We got to pray. I mean, the reality is, once again, that's how I can survive. Is prayer.
Yes.
And being able to deal and navigate through this job, seeing some of the horrible things, the video of hearing someone be killed.
Yeah.
And you can hear someone screaming for help for their life. That happened right here in Stark County. And that lives rent-free in my head.
Yes.
That somebody was screaming for help, and people heard them and still didn't come to their help.
Wow.
And so those are the things that resonate. So you have to be prayerful. You have to be prayed up. You have to be to deal with some of the foolishness that exists amongst in the world. I mean, because it's foolishness. It's crazy. But you got to pray. And I pray for this community. I pray for victims' families. And I pray for defendants as well. This is what I believe. I can help you, lead you to Jesus. But I can help lead you to jail, prison as well. So at least
you might meet him in
when
there.
You get there, you'll have him with you.
You won't be alone in there.
You won't be
alone. Paul
he made a promise. Now you may not shake it loose for you,
out of there,
but at least you'll have him. He won't leave you nor forsake you, but he'll be with you. He'll walk with you.
He will survive.
He will talk with you.
You will not be alone.
And he will remind you you are his, but you could be in prison doing foolishness around this county.
This is how it is. What it is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Stark County Prosecutor Kyle Stone. Thank you so much for being here on Lucas Live. It was my absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Stone, Prosecutor Kyle Stone, thank you guys again for all your love and support of Lucas Live. Make sure you support those that support us. Sarda, Jessica Danielle Nails, the Linda Reibenstein team, and Ace Carpet Cleaning. And we got room for more. We got a couple more that's filling in right now. You'll see some new logos up there. Logos and spaces are going fast to be a part of this. If you want your business to be advertised with these great guests and these great shows, please reach out to us. This is how we're able to do it. Just like every news show, every show you watch on TV has commercials because that's what keeps it going. And we thank you guys so much. Support those that support us. Again, we got Juneteenth coming up this weekend. We have the African American Festival coming up July 11th. We have so many great things going on in our community. Please support our community, support our great prosecutor. Thank you guys for the kind words. Great show. My great guests make these shows great. I am fortunate that I have a genuine curiosity about people, places, and things. So I ask questions genuinely from my heart. I don't have them all written down. I'm just genuinely curious about people. I love people, and I'm excited to do this. Shout out to my mom, Vivian Rosetta Tyndale, who passed in 2020. The reason I started Lucas Live and Lucas Live Media is my honor to honor her name. And thank you guys for supporting this show. Your support, every view, every like, every comment, every share makes this show bigger and better, and it allows us to keep doing what we're doing. Thank you guys so much. We see you. We love you. And we'll see you next time on Lucas Live. Everybody, have a great day.